All right, welcome back to the Forest Brothers podcast. Hey, man, we told y'all we ain't playing this time around. Look at that. Quick episode in succession. Bars on bars. Loading. Nah. You guys, get ready because we're actually going to be on it. We're going to be on it. So anyways, it's your boy Muta back in the cut with my boys Nkosi and Samson. I'll let them say hi to you, starting with the boy Nkosi and over to the boy Samson. And we'll get started with the episode here. So over to you, Mangoro.
A beautiful day in October today. It's wonderful out there. Premier League is back. Football's back. What more can we ask for, beautiful listeners? It's good you're back listening to us, tuning into the Forest Brothers podcast. We're back like we never left. We took a break, but now we're back. I'd like to say hello to my fellow brothers here, Mr. Muari, Mr. Sampson. We're back. Let's get it.
Hello, dear listeners. Welcome to the Forest Brothers podcast. Like the brothers are saying, we are back. And we're doing it bigger and better than ever before. So y'all better get tucked in, get ready, grab a cup of tea, grab some water, whatever you like to drink. Grab grab some little chips, grab a little snack, maybe some peanuts. I don't know what you like. Grab whatever you want to grab. Sit down, get comfortable. Let's get the show on the road, gents.
Indeed. No, I love it. Let's get it cracking. So, as you know, it's already been, I think we just finished game week 7 in the Premier League right now. We've been underway. We've seen a lot of things, but we want to take this episode to kind of do more so an analysis of each of our teams. As many of you may know or not know, I am a Tottenham Spurs supporter. I know, but I'm happy. All right, I'm happy. I don't know about some of y'all, but I'm happy. The boy Mangoro is a Chelsea supporter, and then Samson is an Arsenal supporter. So we've got a good little variance in the group here. So we're gonna take some time this episode to kind of discuss in this first 7 games where our teams are at and what we expect to see from them moving forward. And so starting with me, of course, Spurs, because they just played the last game of the game week. We played against Brighton. We were 2-0 up. Unfortunately, we lost 3-2. It was embarrassing. It was a disappointment. And I think it speaks to what Spurs is at right now in the sense of attacking-wise, because we know we play a high line. We score goals. We're doing well. Brennan Johnson is doing well. But unfortunately, at the back, we're leaky. We're not strong in the back. Udogie had a shit game today. He was playing Udog shit today, if I might say. And, honestly, all 3 goals we conceded, I can actually say that Udogie had a part to play in them. So he had a poor game, I have to say. And also, Brighton also scored lucky-ish kind of goals, maybe the first one where 2 defenders missed the ball completely and someone just there in the right place at the right time to score a goal, sure. But Spurs, man, I feel like we had a really good first half and second half, it was just abysmal. I heard the pundit say it was like a Jekyll and Hyde type performance where in the first half, boom, we're on it, we're killing it. Second half, I don't know if they smoked a spliff in the changing rooms. I don't know if they convinced themselves the game is done. But those boys went out there hey, man, yeah, it is what it is. And then as soon as you consider that first goal, it'll just, yeah. But anyway, that's my philosophy on Spurs right now. I think Ange has a lot of work to do in the sense of protecting leads because it's very rare for us, number one, to keep a clean sheet. And number 2, to keep them for a long time or to win back-to-back games. It's very rare for that to happen. So I thought we were on a high after we beat Man United 3-0 last week. But you know what? There's a lot of work to do. But anyway, let me hear what you guys' thoughts are on Spurs at the moment. Starting with the boy Mangoro. How have you seen how we do? What are the goods and the bads? Lay it on me.
I think, as you just mentioned, I do agree with that. What you just mentioned regarding the high line, that is absolute criminal behavior from your manager. From last season, I thought he would have learned this season that it's just not going to work. But All in all, it looks like you're scoring goals. I did watch the game against Brighton. When y'all went 2-0 up, I was like, oh, Spurs looking quite decent, which like begs into my question that I do want to ask you. It seems like the Spurs fan base is kind of split on Brennan Johnson. I want to get your take on where you sit with him. He had to delete all his social media because of the abuse he got from you Spurs fans. And then afterwards, he scored 4-4, I believe, or he's done something impressive from that time when that happened. And secondly, Timo, like just the front three that kind of feels new. So you have Timo Werner this year, then you have your new center forward Dom Solanke. Just want to get your take on those. But for me personally, I'll just say like Spurs this season has looked better than what people anticipated, given that we kind of felt like there was some sort of betting in for some of the new players. Some of them, like, I don't know, we haven't even seen much. Bergval, all these other funny characters that you brought in this past summer. So, yeah, I'm just interested to know. Like, for me, Spurs, like, it's what I expected. They're going to concede goals. They're going to score goals. I'm shocked that there aren't as many red cards as you usually do. So Romero, good on him, and all these other Spurs defenders, your doggies and all those characters.
Hey man, you know what? Spurs can really play some beautiful football, man. Like that United game, even if Bruno never got that red card, I'm 100% certain we're gonna win that game. That's just how good those boys were on it. But when you talk about Brendan Johnson, you know, that criticism, of course, like some people always take it too far. We always know this. But I was also in the camp where I thought Brendan was not up to par. Like for the beginning of the season, decision making was not his forte. Yeah, the speed is there, but even last season, like I felt like he was just not up to par. And with everything that's happened, you know, some players, they take two paths. Either the criticism makes you shy away, you play poorly, you're not really up to it. You know, you're not for it, and you just kind of fade away. Some players really take that on and like, yo, I gotta prove something. And I am very happy that Brendan took the path where he says, I have to prove something. And ever since he deleted social media and all that, and the criticism he got, he's been on fire, man. Like now I actually get excited for Brendan because I know that he's gonna be in the right place at the right time. He's really trying his best. Maybe Instagram was too much of a distraction. Maybe the Insta baddies made him worse. Now now doesn't have those distractions anymore. Maybe that's what it is, you know? Now he's focused on his craft, wakes up at 6 a.m., does drills before anyone else wakes up. You know, this could be the rebirth of Brendan Johnson. And he's young. He still has a lot to learn. But in terms of Timo Werner, man, that guy, he has missed so many good chances. Like that game against Man United, Timo Werner should have at least had a hat trick. And his confidence is just so poor, man. He should have buried those chances. And he had so many one-on-one situations, and he just didn't take them on, you know, as you'd expect someone of his caliber to put them away. But Onana had a good game too. I don't want to take anything from Onana, but Fernand should have been burying at least two of those goals, to be honest. And he didn't do that. And even today, he gets in the right positions, he does the right thing. I think it's just delivery and goal scoring that he has to work on. And Dominic, I can't say much about the man. I'm happy we have him. I think if we had Son in the lineup today, things could have looked a little different. I don't think Son would. I don't know. It probably could have happened the same way, but I think, yeah, the front three, they're trying. I can't say they're not trying. And the new signings we've got, this Bergval, good kid. And he seems talented. You know, they picked him up from Sweden after he'd only played like 17 games. No one knew much about him, but he's got a lot of raw talent. So I'm excited to see what he does. Yeah, but maybe Sanyi as the resident Arsenal man. I know you hate Spurs the same way I hate Arsenal with everything I have, every fiber of my being. How have you seen Spurs this season, and what do you expect from them moving forward?
Yeah, Spurs is I'll start by praising Ange. I'll say Ange has transformed Spurs. I like his tactics. I think anyone who plays attacking football in the Premier League and gets results, makes it to Europe, I think deserves some praise because it's not easy to do. Where I criticize him is he doesn't seem to understand that, there's more than one way to play football. Even if you have a philosophy, in coaching, they talk about game states, right? So At some point, you're going to be on the attack. You're going to have the opposition under pressure. Makes a lot of sense that you would do these fancy things with fullbacks inverting and wingers staying wide and midfielders doing this, all that stuff. Great. But he doesn't seem to have a plan for when teams attack Spurs. His only real solid plan seems to be have a high line and Van der Ven, run. That's it. That's the only plan he's got. And that works for about, I'd say 12 teams in the league, probably 10 to 12 teams in the league. The other eight, or the other seven rather, you are going to have to defend. You see Man City get into a block, Arsenal get into a block, Liverpool get into a block. Like, it's not a sign of weakness to tell your players to drop back a few meters and to just absorb pressure for a period of time, because what that does is it also allows you to regain your energy and you don't run out of gas. A big theme of Spurs last season was you guys ran out of gas. You were getting injured and you ran out of gas. So even like today, you played brilliantly in the first half. In the second half, you get hit with 2 goals. You can still win the game because Brighton are still playing a higher line. They're still taking chances. You can still do something, but can your players actually bring themselves to do anything? You've pressed them up high for 60, 70 minutes. Can you still do it for another 20 minutes? And the answer was no, because you still have to run back and defend every 2 minutes. So I think that's just the problem, being more complete in the way he sets his team up, being more complete in the lineups he picks. I mean, your most defensive midfielder is Bentancur. He's not a defensive midfielder. You're playing 2 cams. You're playing Madison and Kulusevski. Like, who's chasing back? Who's marking anyone? There's Udogi's he's on an island. Udogi's not the best defender in the world. He has pace, and that's about it. Same with Porro. As defensive fullbacks, that's their only asset, pace. Okay, what if you have a pacey winger? Minter is a pretty pacey winger. Mitoma is a pretty pacey winger. What then? Are you good at marking? Are you good at tackling? You need very good individual defenders to play this way, and you guys don't have them. So what Ange needs to do is find a way to be better defensively as a team, whether that's dropping the team back, selecting people like Sarr, Bissouma, something. You need more variation in the way you play, and I think you will be fine. But otherwise, as a regime, I don't think I can say too much bad, because before Ange, this was the pits. This was horrible.
Hey, we're getting out of the pits, man. We're getting out of the pits. But I'll just have to say, I'm excited. I know I can tell you right now, I think we'll win that trophy this season. It's probably going to be FA, maybe Carabao, maybe even Europa. I think Ange hopefully does something. I think we need that trophy this season. But on to Chelsea. Let's talk about that, because I saw y'all play Nottingham Forest today, and it was a 1-1. And the funniest thing for me that came out of that game was seeing players tussling and seeing that boy Cole Palmer take a seat on the floor. And, there's this narrative going out there, Mangoro, that, Cole Palmer doesn't have anything else in his head except just playing soccer, He doesn't think about too much else, either because he doesn't want to or he can't. But there's nothing else up there besides soccer, And maybe it's a good thing, all the kid wants to do is play. And we've seen some really, really good football from Palmer this season. He's got now the Premier record, for 4 goals and a half? That's crazy. But at the same time, y'all win, a big scoreline last week, and then this week, it's 1-1. I mean, against the 10-man Nottingham Forest at the same time too. But Nottingham Forest are pretty good defensively, so I'll give them that. But anyway, I'm just also curious, Mangoro, as to how you're seeing the boy Maresca doing this season and how you see your team moving forward. You guys are pretty top 4 right now, or top 5. So Chelsea's doing pretty well, given your history. So Mangoro, over to you. What are your thoughts on Chelsea in the last seven game weeks?
Uh, yeah, I'd say uh, starting off, I'll be quite frank. When Maresca was given the job at the beginning of the season, I'll raise my hand and say I didn't know much, but about disappointment, I was for the sacking of Pochettino because that Spurs character did do some very, very interesting things. Apparently, they fired him with a 15-page document. I'd like to receive a copy of that document. It looks enticing. Apparently, wanted to keep Gallagher. Now we got rid of Gallagher. We look much better. I've been telling people for a couple of years now that Gallagher wasn't the solution. But when I look at the season and how we started, I'd say we've beaten teams we expected to beat. In terms of like just the performance wise, apart from the Palace and the Forest game, I think we do maybe have a problem at home. I think that's one win in four this season. We're better away from home. I don't know why that is. It's a very strange stat, but something I learned today. When I look at how where we've been previously and where we are this season, I think this team is at a point where, in terms of attack, I think you can put any defense in front of it. This attack can score. Like, I don't know what this attack has. Like, this attack has some other fire. Like, when you look at, like, they can take out the front four of Jackson, Palmer, Noni, and Jaden. I'll get to Jaden in a second. And put on Felix, Modric, Neto, and Kunku. Like, that attack is actually, I think, one of the best assembled attack ever. I do want to touch on this guy, Jaden. This guy, Jaden, I think he probably could be the best dribbler in the Premier League. Like that guy, I don't know where they found him there. Like honestly, like Manchester United, I think have made a huge blunder there. Like as much as like Man City may have made a blunder with Cole Palmer, I think Manchester United made a blunder there with Jadon Sancho. All in all, but when I look at the team, like the team in terms of like where it's at, to be quite frank and to be honest, there are aspects that they definitely do need to improve. Some aspects, especially on the defensive side. Like Sanchez today, he did save the team a couple of goals. Those Nottingham Forest brothers could have actually won that game. But then last week he did make not a few, made two blunders. So I kind of maybe it balances out. This week he saved the team. Last week he had farmed the team. So in terms of like the defense, I think they do need to work on the defense. Like that's like one aspect that it's just horrible. Like the defense, I can safely say like they've got the people there that I truly believe in: Cole, Fofana, Kukurea, who's now convinced me, and Malo Gusto. They're pretty good. Sanchez has his good days and also has his bad days, but for the most part, I'd say he's been decent in these 7 games. And the midfield is fine. Romeo's in, and I don't know. Chelsea just have this different feel to the season that they feel like a team. Less injuries. It looks like it's starting to come together. The madness that was dubbed the £1 billion bottle jobs are starting to grow. Gary Neville, we do remember that you said that. We'll never forget it. But I truly believe that it's just time to give. It's just time we just let Maresca cook with these players. Hopefully they stay fit because that's what I think has hindered the other managers and the other seasons that have come in. Less of these owner talk. That to me, I'd say I just get tired of those things. Like especially like when they're talking about how there's off the field stuff and all that stuff. No, we don't need any of that. We just need the players performing on the field. The players are now there. I believe that the players are available. Well, if they're available, they will deliver. There are a few things that they need to grow in and fix in terms of like just being clinical. Jackson, number one, finishing from last week to this week. The consistency. He scores 2 goals at West Ham. The next game he does nothing. Then he scores the next game. Then the next game he does nothing. So those kind of things. Same thing with Sanchez with the mistakes. There are a few players that Enzo has also not looked himself. To me, the season he just hasn't arrived. Like I would certainly maybe think about maybe dropping him. Maybe since he's the captain, it would be a bit harder to drop him. And also Enzo can't drop Enzo, so maybe that can't happen. There are a few other things that when I look at the club that I'm like, okay, fine, it's starting to come together. It feels like a collective unit. There's some aspects that I'd say, okay, fine, we're improving there, but there also are some aspects that definitely need to be fixed.
Would you say that Chelsea has a strong case for top 4 this season? Or do you feel like you're good with top 6. Where do you lie on that?
We do need to aim for the top 4 this season, but I don't want to talk a lot about the top 4. Like, I want us to focus more on just win the next game. Win the next game, see where it puts you. Don't think long term about the top 4. Don't think about those things. Just win the next game. Win the next game. You start to build momentum. Think about the next game. Don't think about where you're going to end in the season in May. Now it's October. May is far. Just think about the next game. Win the next game. Chelsea getting in the top 4, in my opinion, and this is just my honest opinion, is that I believe Chelsea getting into the top 4 will not be dependent on Chelsea being good enough to be in the top 4. It will be dependent on the other teams and how their season goes. Especially because, like, I can safely say Arsenal, Liverpool, City, those 3 are locked in top 3. And then the 4th place between Chelsea, Villa, maybe Newcastle, Spurs. I can't United because it's United. You never know with them. It will depend on how those other teams' season goes for Chelsea to be in the top 4. That's depending on what it is. For me personally, like, when people talk about top 4 and titles, I'm like, no, don't talk about those things. I just want us to just focus on win the next game. Then once you win that, what are the learnings from the next game? Take those learning into the following game. Win that game. Same thing. Just continue the process. Don't look up. Like, the perfect way to sum it up is something that Leicester had, I believe, like when they won the league. They just sort of said, win the next game, we get to 40. Oh, now we're at 40? Let's see how many more games we can win. Oh, now we're at 70. Let's see how many more we can win. Now, by the time I think there were like 3-4 games left, they're like, maybe we could win this league title. So things like that. I think that's how we need to approach it with these young players, because young players in themselves, like, they have a lot of mistakes. They're going to be inconsistent. I think we just need to calm down, be relaxed. It's the beginning of a journey. It's a long-term journey. That's why some of these players are on these 20-year contracts, because we're building something here, and we shouldn't be trying to eat now. We should be eating in the next 2 to 3 years. This is the beginning of something, and we just should let it grow. We can't plant today and then tomorrow we wanna harvest. No, let us plant, let it grow, give it some time. Once it's ready, we will harvest.
You know, Chelsea, I think Mongoro, that was very beautiful put, by the way. You know, I think, yes, Chelsea needs time to grow before they can harvest anything. But what I will say, the most exciting thing about Chelsea is the goals. And in a way, it's similar to Spurs, where I think there's going to be a lot of goals scored by both teams. What gives me more confidence in Chelsea currently is that the coach does seem to have a preference for controlling possession. And controlling possession doesn't necessarily mean you won't concede goals, but it does limit not just possession, controlling the game, right? So, like, he wants to. I think him, Pep, Arteta, it's the same sort of like philosophy. I don't want to just control possession. I want to control how you attack. I want to control your transition. What do you do with the ball? And I think that is a very powerful tool for any coach to have. And if Chelsea can keep building with that coach, I think, yeah, they could become a very strong team. But yeah, I agree with your point about Enzo. That man should not be captain of anything. He should not be captain of the under-21s. He should not, like, vice captain, nothing. The 5 leaders, no leadership position should be going to that man right there, because there's nothing special about Enzo right now. Absolutely nothing. He's just a guy who costs a lot of money. He was a nice, shiny toy that someone told Todd one day, you can't have that thing. You know why you can't have that thing? It's $120 million. You cannot have that thing. And he was like, I'll show you. I will get that thing. And he did. He got it. And now he doesn't know what to do with it. I feel like Chelsea have no idea what to do with Enzo, because everything else works. You have Caicedo there. You have Cucurella. Even Cucurella is looking great. You have Malo Gusto. You have the front 4. Then Enzo's just here. Like, what does Enzo do? Does he have energy? Does he pass? Does he defend? We don't know. It's just a little bit of every. He's like a little terrible at everything, a little good at everything. Like, you need something else. And I think once Chelsea figure out that position, I think that's going to take them to another level. Then they'll really start challenging the top three teams. But yeah, so far so good though.
Yeah, I do want to add, like, there's a guy that I think he has gone under the radar. I think he actually might have a good season given the minutes. Underrated. Like, I also had like no opinion on him. I was like, really, we're signing this guy. Tosin Adarabioyo from Fulham, came from the Man City Academy. Like, to me, I'm like, hey, which one is this one? But he's looked decent. His passing is actually exceptional. It's like as good as, I'd say, Levi Cole. But I can't end a segment without talking about the coldest man in the league. This guy, I don't know. This guy, I think we have to go to City and give them more money. Like, this is not just this is like a serious thing. Like, it's not right that this is how much you got Cole Palmer for. Like, it's just not right. Like, that guy, I'm telling you, like, in 2 years, what he's achieved in 2 years, imagine what he could achieve in the next 3 to 5 years. And we've signed him on another contract. Oh God, till 2030 something. I don't even know, like probably 39. Like, that's just how long we have him. So, like, that guy, I think, in my opinion, the first 7 games has shown that even if people mark him this season, he'll still find a way to score goals. Not scoring goals, assists, but like Chelsea this season, I've been impressed. Just keep consistency and then just move forward.
Okay. Now Palmer, I mess with Palmer. Like, I don't like the fact that I don't have him in my FPL team, but I will soon. But moving on to Arsenal here, Sangi, talk to us. How are you seeing? You know, as an Arsenal fan, it must be difficult, man. Every season, you hope for the best, but you just never know if you're gonna make it. Like, 2 times not making it to the top, winning the Premier League. Like, I mean, that must hurt. Like, so I don't know if you still have the same hope this season, or you just kind of fine being top 4. I know they've talked a lot about Arsenal dark arts this season. Maybe you're just hoping to set piece your way to the Premier League title. I don't know. Maybe that's your game plan, but I'm curious to hear as well what your thoughts are as your first 7 games. Right now, Arsenal sit 3rd, same points as Man City, but this time around they're just battling Man City. You're battling Liverpool. Chelsea is literally 3 points behind you. So there's a lot more competition now. Is Arsenal going to rise up to the challenge or not? So yeah, curious to hear your thoughts about that, Samson.
I mean, I think this Arsenal team is the best Arsenal team you're seeing over the past few years. When we first started challenging, I think it was a surprise to everyone, including to us. And it was mainly powered by essentially Gabi Jesus turning into, R9 for 6 months. I mean, he was incredible. You guys remember the stuff he was doing. Then obviously that changed. He got injured, went to the World Cup, different player. We had to figure out a different way to start winning games. And that season kind of died out because injuries, because I think Saliba got injured towards the end as well, started losing games. Last season, I think, again, Rice came in, we went up to another level. We became the best defense in the league, and we started beating teams by outlasting them. So in the previous season, we would score first and basically just blow teams away before they have a chance. But then when teams scored against us, we would end up in these crazy draws, like the 3-3 against Southampton with 2-2. Like, it'd be a mess, it'd be a shootout. Last season, we tightened it up when we said, you know what? Even if we can't score, you can't score either. And that got us a little closer to City. But even then, we never fully competed with City because when we played them at the Etihad, even though I thought that was a good draw, we weren't really able to attack them the way a team challenging for the title would be able to attack. We didn't we needed the draw. We were searching for that draw, and we were hoping to get our points elsewhere. But this year, man, I mean, you guys saw the Man City game. If not for the ref, Man City were losing that game. If not for the ref sending off Trossard and not getting his story straight with PGML about why Trossard was sent off, the ref said, "Oh, it's the ref on the field that says because of the foul." The PGML said, "Oh, it's because he kicked the ball away." We will never know why Trossard was sent off, but he was sent off, and that's the only reason Man City got back in that game, because they were rattled. Every set piece was a problem. Pep couldn't stop screaming at Kyle Walker. That was real fear in their eyes. And we haven't been able to do that to them this entire time we're challenging them. So when I saw that game, I saw a different team. That's the sort of fear Man City are used to instilling in other opponents, where just each challenge they make, each attack they make, you're scared they're going to score. They were scared we were going to score. They were scared of us. So if we can scare Man City like that and get them talking, Haaland wanted to fight after the game, Pep was chirping all week. The following week he came up and he was like, "What did Arteta mean when he said what?" It's a week later. You know what I mean? It's been on his head for a week. So given that, things like that show me that this is a different team, and we've gone behind. We've had, a few other tough games this year where we've either gone behind or we've dropped leads, and the boys just respond right away. We're not waiting till the 90th minute or 95, and the ref is adding 6, 8, 7, 10 minutes. Nah, it's getting done within the time. No one's complaining. We're beating teams, and it's done. There's no controversy. There's nothing controversial here. Oh, is that a pen? No, it's clean goals. It's clean. And people, there's some sort of inevitability about Arsenal where it's even if the other team is ahead, if the other team scores, you just feel eventually someone's going to crack. Eventually we're going to keep knocking, someone's going to crack. And given the additions we've made, Merino looks good. Obviously, Calafiori looks good. Finally, Zinchenko doesn't have to play a game of football. We have 4 left backs who can play instead of him. Thank God, man. Overall, yeah, I think we're looking solid. And if Liverpool, Man City think this is going to be an easy season, nah. It's going to be competitive, like you're saying. But I'm not so worried about Chelsea, because I feel like Chelsea are going to have a lot more days like today where it just doesn't work. Because again, Nico Jackson leading the line, it's shaky, man. That's not the guy you want to look at when you need a goal. I think Arsenal with Havertz, Man City with Haaland, there's a bit more confidence that, yes, our attack can make something happen. Even Liverpool, I think they're a little shaky. But they control games so well that it almost doesn't matter. But obviously, Alisson is out for a few weeks now, so we'll see what happens there. But I'm mostly just concerned about Man City. And I think if we remain healthy, the title is ours. That's how confident I feel. It's going to come down to a few points again, 2-3 points. But I think finally we're at a stage where our team is much more complete, and this is the best chance we're going to get to win the title. So yeah.
Samson, when I watch Arsenal this season, I don't know, could you speak on these two aspects? My questions for you, these not set pieces, these corners. Why are these corners all of a sudden now penalties for Arsenal? We saw it against City. We saw it against Spurs. I'm pretty sure there are other games where you scored from these corners. That's my first point. And secondly, the striker, I want to get your take on your attack. Not everyone, just between Jesus and Havertz. What are your thoughts on them? Because, they score, they don't score. Jesus has seems like he's frozen out from the club. Like I saw some posts on social media today. Some fans were talking about he should start learning Arabic and start preparing himself. So just get your take on those two aspects.
Yep, if he hasn't learned Arabic yet, bro, he should study up because it's done. Honestly, I think the only thing that's keeping him here is the fact that Benjamin Šeško signed a new contract at Leipzig. The fact that we didn't have the money to go after Gyökeres after all the signings were made. We didn't have the money for Osimhen. If the Osimhen loan was available early in the window, Jesus would not be an Arsenal player. I don't think so. Like he's here as a backup at this point. He's here if we need. Like I think the only reason he even played last week is because Odegaard isn't here. So he's really fighting for minutes, and you see why. Havertz, whatever you think about him, that guy is the perfect like modern center forward in terms of the way he links up with the wingers and the attacking midfielder, and the way he's able to just bother defenders. You know, it's like he has a PhD in being a nuisance. The guy will hassle you for 90 minutes, and he doesn't get tired. That's the thing. He's very fit. Every game he's available. Doesn't get injured. Jesus, you know what? I could be mad. Like, if I get appointed today, say I love Jesus, and I do, I'd be like, you know what, Jesus, you will start the next 5 games. I promise you, after 3 games, he'll be out for 3 weeks. I promise you. Because that's just I think that's just his body. And number 2, I think that's just, you know, the way he plays. He's going to get hit. And the way his health has gone over the past few years, I don't think he can handle this much football at the top level the way he used to. And also, I don't think he has the confidence that he used to, because he used to really take people on. I mean, the first season he was here, you know, basically being R9, he would dribble the ball from our side of the pitch to the opposition box and shoot or pass it off to someone. He doesn't do that anymore because he can't. Like, he will literally try and they will just muscle him off the ball or they'll tackle him. Like, he's just not the same guy. But Havertz, man, Havertz is amazing, man. He is everything. Actually, I don't even think Arteta thought this is who he'd become. I think he thought he was signing a second striker, like a shadow striker, like a attacking midfielder type of guy, someone who crashes the box. This guy is actually a striker, and that changes so much for us. So it unlocks our whole attack, and it makes us very, very hard to beat because it doesn't just help us when we're attacking. It helps us when we're being pressed at the back, because I'm not sure if you guys have seen Raya this season, but Raya can ping a ball from his box to the other keeper's box, and he can ping it right to Havertz's head just about every single time. So how do you press us? You know, like, you can't, because it's just that ball's gonna go every time and Havertz is gonna win it. So yeah, for things like that, you know, it's just made us a much more complete team.
I don't know, man. Y'all look whack to me. I don't know about all that. Like, you guys consider against Southampton, you could have drawn that game, but obviously it's Southampton. But there were moments in that game I was like, yeah, this could actually end up as a 1-1, or Southampton can pull something out of their hat. So you're saying all that, Samson, but I actually feel like Arsenal is less attacking this season, just from what I've seen. You're more defensive, maybe. But y'all were playing Partey as a right back, and I'm like, what's happening here? So, and y'all trying the inverted right back thing, you know, that Liverpool did with Trent, but I feel like there's a hole there. So Southampton are for sure going to beat them, but I also feel like even Saka, like right now, Saka, all he's doing is just assisting from corners. In the game, Saka doesn't seem as Saka from past seasons. He doesn't have the same aura, you know. No, I don't. Again, I'm a Spurs fan. All this comes from hate, but there's a little bit of truth in the hate.
Okay, I'll try to address everything you just said. So the inverted right back fullback thing, I think that's a Pep thing. I think he's the first one to start really doing that with Zinchenko. Then Arteta did it with Zinchenko, and then Tomiyasu. Then Klopp, because Klopp, I don't think Klopp is a great tactician. I think he copies a lot. He did it because he didn't want to bench Trent because it was very obvious at some point in his system that I think it's Roberts. Is that his name? Or yeah, the other guy. The other guy was better than Trent at being a right back. So Klopp was like, oh, then let me make this guy an inverted, midfielder guy, so he can stay in the team because he's my boy. Anyway, that wasn't to help the team. That was just to keep his boy in the team. What to help the team is putting that young kid on and telling him to be right back. But yes, we are much more defensive. And I think Spurs could learn from us in a lot of ways because Arsenal will do, it's very obvious how we play. We'll start the game pressing very high, very intense. But after about 25, 30 minutes, every game, doesn't matter who we're playing, we will always drop into our block. Everyone will drop. And we will defend like that until the end of the half and just play on the counter. And it just helps conserve energy. That's what that's for. I know things look shaky against Southampton a few times. And I think there are some concerns like Calafiori, as good as he is going forward, I think he is a little vulnerable defensively. He has like some aggressiveness gene where he has to physically destroy his opponent before he takes the ball. I don't know what the deal with that is because he did it against Man City as well when Savio got past him. Instead of trying to win the ball, he went with the body first, and he did it again against Southampton. That's a concern. Ben White hasn't been fully fit this season. That's a concern. Tomiyasu's had his injury problems. That's a concern. Timber went down midweek after the Champions League game. That's a concern. So if injuries, don't bother us too much, I think we'll be fine. But all that being said, all of these concerns, they can all be wiped away as long as Zinchenko does not touch the field. I promise you, anything other than Zinchenko touching the field, and we'll mostly be okay. Obviously, okay, Saka can't go down either. But apart from, I think you mentioned this, Mutsa, when we were talking privately. We can handle an injury to one, Odegaard can go down, Havertz can go down, Saka can go down. But two is going to be really difficult. So right now we're kind of hanging on right now just because Odegaard's missing, all these defenders are missing, but we've bought well, and currently the team is just weathering the storm, and we're weathering it pretty well. We're winning by 2 just about every other game, so we're fine. But yeah, there are a few cracks here and there, just tiny ones.
Nah, oh good, man. Oh good. Oh well, you know what, listener? Hopefully you've I don't know how many. Well, there's a lot of Arsenal out there. There's a lot of Chelsea fans out there. Spurs fans, maybe not as much, but we are a brave bunch. So to say, we hope you've enjoyed our analysis of these 3 teams, and we'll have more in store for you coming forward. So I appreciate you for taking the time to listen to the boys, to the Forest Brothers, and just happy to be back, man. Happy to be in your ears again. So in your ears and your faces. So catch us on Spotify for the audio version. Catch us on YouTube for the video version. Just catch us anywhere. Stream us, listen to us, share with your friends, and let them know, hey, the Forest Brothers are back, and they're back with the bang. And that's it from me. Nkosi Samson, say goodbye to the folks, and let's get it going. So over to you, Samson, and we'll close it out with Nkosi.
Dear listener, it's been amazing to be back. Great to be here, do the part of the boys. I hope you've enjoyed the episode. This has been the Forest Brothers podcast. Take it away, Mangoro.
To all my Spotify listeners, hit that notification bell to be updated with the Forest Brothers Apple Podcast as well. Hit that notification on YouTube. Hit like, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff, all that beautiful stuff. this season is going to be wonderful. Forest Brothers are back. Cole Palmer will be doing a lot of his celebration this year. I've seen it in MLP. Maybe we'll call him one of these days, and he'll come and do it here on the Forest Brothers podcast for us. So, yeah, listener, be able to tune in, listen. We're going to be dropping bars as we always do. But yeah, enjoy the week.
Thank you, listener. And with that, peace out.